Hi, I'm Zero to Hero, and this is a documentary about my road trip from Maryland to Yosemite National Park in 8 weeks. I guess the reason for this trip is I wanted to see America and climb America. So today I have started packing, and this is all my stuff. I work remotely, so I have an extra monitor. I have 2 laptops. I have a Surface Pro and all the accoutrements. I have extra battery pack. And of course, duct tape. You always need duct tape. And the goal of this trip is to write a book. I've always wanted to write a book, so I'm gonna try to make it to Yosemite in 60 days. This is my climbing and camping gear. I have a tent and a tarp to go under it in case it rains, a dynamic rope, sleeping bag, mat. And here I've got some other climbing gear. And got a dynamic rope or static rope, and yeah, should be everything I need. This is the vehicle that I'll be taking on my road trip, and I've got everything I need in here. It's a 2014 Toyota Prius, 60 miles per gallon, pretty much stuffed to the gills. Back here I have a strong box that I got on Amazon for about $250, and I keep my work laptop back here, and everything is secure so that when I go to a crag and I go climbing, I don't have to worry about my car. And I got my GoPro stuff. Well, I shouldn't say my GoPro. Actually, my friend Elisha was kind enough to lend me her GoPro, and that sort of made this whole thing possible. So shout out to Elisha, thank you. I've got it back here and I can lock it, and then everything's secure. I still don't know where I'm staying tonight. I booked an Airbnb, but I never got a response back from the owner. It's supposed to rain tonight, so I don't think I can camp outside. So I'm just gonna head to West Virginia and see what happens. Hopefully I'll find something and we'll go from there. I'm finally on the road. I got a bit of a late start because I wasn't sure where I was headed. The Airbnb that I tried to book was never approved, and so I didn't really have a destination. Luckily, after a couple tries, I found a hostel up in Rockwood, PA. I've never been there. I'm looking forward to checking it out. It's not exactly due west, but it will get me at least some of the distance. I'm going to be on the road about 2.5 hours, and it's about 5:45, so I'll get there around 8:15. Looking forward to it. You might be wondering why I haven't shown myself. Well, I'm new to vlogging and I'm not exactly sure what I'm doing, but I have read a couple travel writing books, and the advice in those is that the travel writer should not be the focus of the story. The focus should be on the food or the places or the people. So it should be a vlog about me per se. It should really be a vlog about things that I see. And I guess I want to follow that tradition of travel writing. except in the context of travel vlogging. So this is where I'm staying tonight. I don't know what this is. Maybe it's a furnace of some sort. I think the wood goes in the bottom. Not a bad place. What's your name?
Dennis Zimmerman.
Dennis, nice to meet you.
Yeah.
So you're traveling from DC to Pittsburgh.
I'm on my way back, actually. I've been from DC to Pittsburgh, and now I'm traveling from Pittsburgh back to DC.
And how long have you been on the road?
A little over 2 weeks.
Cool.
Yeah. Been averaging between 20 to 60 days, 20 to 60 miles a day. Mm-hmm. Camping most of the time, staying at a hotel when I have to. But yeah, it's fun. You meet strange people, and it's interesting. Spent a whole day with a guy from Scotland who was over here. He's starting a cross-country bicycle trip, and we got caught in a place and started raining, so we ended up spending 2 days camping together and went out, went to dinner and stuff. It was just an interesting guy. You meet people who, I met a bunch of guys from India, from the country of India, and who are traveling together, and they're renting a house as they go along. They're renting out a B&B and whatever, and just for something to do. It's kind of like bike touring is like it's like mountain climbing. You do it because it's there. Makes no sense, but it's just fun. Yeah, people think you're insane, but it's physically challenging, but it's emotionally satisfying. I'm going to put it that way. I just like the whole challenge of it. It's physically challenging. It's emotionally challenging. I've done several tours around the country, and this is easy because you're on a trail and you really can't get lost here. But usually I get lost somewhere along the way, and or something breaks down. It never quite works the way you plan it, but that's part of the fun. It's life. Life is One of my favorite quotes is from John Lennon, that life is what happens when you're making other plans. And bicycle touring is absolutely, you really, you can plan for the weather, but if it's rainy, you either stay somewhere or you ride. But you don't plan for that. You bring a rain suit. I have a pretty complete toolkit on my bike, and still something happens, and I don't have the right tool for it, and but that's life, and you roll with it. You just roll with it. Probably the best thing I've learned is to not get. Probably two things. One is don't. It's a cliche, but don't sweat the small stuff. Like I was just saying, something always happens. You plan on being in this town on this day at this time. The weather's screwy. The path is messed up. You have a bike problem. You get a flat tire. Just go with it. Roll with it. Don't what happens. That's one thing I've learned is you can't worry about what you can't control. The other thing is ride at your own pace. I ran across a bunch of guys just this week who were racing from Pittsburgh to Philadelphia, 388 miles, and that just doesn't sound like fun at all to me. But when I first started touring, I've been doing this probably 15, 20 years now, and I would be rigid on my schedule. You got to do this guy, or I would read someone else had done a tour, and it did it in 6 days. They did something, and I'd feel obligated to do that. And I've learned I'm going to ride my ride, and if I'm going to stop and talk to people, I'm going to stop and talk to people. That's half the fun. I just talked to some old guy today. He told me the whole story of Ohio Pile. I was in a hurry. I wanted to get here, but it's great stories to tell. Met a bunch of guys from Baltimore area, and they were talking about their trip and these Indian guys. And there's just too many stories. America's full of really interesting people, and they're just fun to talk to, and you learn things, and or I get a chance to tell them my story, which is also fun. And,
I was going to say you're a case in point.
Yeah. This fellow from Scotland that I spent so much time with was kind of a hobby was studying American history, but chunks of American history he had no concept of, and so we would talk about something and we'd get off on a subject, and he'd go, "I never knew that. How'd that happen?" That's what's fun. That's what I enjoy. I enjoy people. I enjoy the conversations and stories. Much like yourself, I guess you must enjoy that.
I do.
Yeah.
My last question would be, how do you make this possible? A lot of people wonder about money. Do you hold a job and at the same time as doing these activities, or are you retired? Or?
I for most of my career, most of my touring, I was working, so I would have a time limit. I'd have 2 weeks or whatever. Now I have the luxury of being retired, and what normally I would have tried to do in 2 weeks, I can do 2.5 weeks, or if it takes an extra day here and there, or if I break down, or if I want to stay somewhere and see something, I can. I recommend retirement to anybody who can do it. It's a wonderful thing. I never made a lot of money in my career, but I made enough, and we were able to live, comfortably and have a little money left to play with, and so that I feel blessed that way that I was able to do that.
Well, good luck on your journey.
Thank
Thank
you
you for your time.
Yeah, same to you.